Welcome to Monologues by Hassie, where I'm going to be dropping unsolicited brain dumps from the depths of my grey matter. I'll talk about life, money, society, and self-development, plus whatever else lies up there, whilst hopefully not getting cancelled in the process. I want to pay as much tax as I possibly can. One of my financial goals is I want to increase the amount of tax I pay year upon year. Now, this doesn't mean I want to voluntarily pay more tax than I have to, or give up tax optimization strategies that are available to me at particular income levels, right? What I want to do, what I mean when I say I want to pay more taxes year upon year is I want to focus my energies on making more money, right? Through my skill set, through my investments, so that I can eventually pay more taxes as a result. I think one of the traps that myself and a lot of other people who are kind of middle income earners, they're middle class, they're upper middle class, maybe they're lucky to be a Henry, which is a high earning but not rich yet individual. And a lot of these people look at their paychecks, especially if you're in a country like Australia, where we generally pay, I guess, a higher rate of tax. And they look at their paychecks and they say, well, great, I'm paying $50,000 of tax every year. How can I pay less tax? And they work out different strategies and they focus a lot of energy into saving maybe 10, 20 grand on tax, right? But imagine if they spent that energy, if they utilized all that mental energy, that brain power, those resources, imagine if they utilized that into making more money and inadvertently paying more tax, right? At the end of the day, they'd still have more money in their pocket. But the advantage on focusing on making more money and therefore paying more taxes is that there is no cap on how much tax you can pay and how much more money you can make. Whereas the amount of money I can save at my current income and the amount of taxes I currently pay is always going to be fixed, right? If I currently pay $50,000 in taxes, then the most I could ever save on taxes every year in a completely imaginary world where I could do this type of financial engineering is I could only save $50,000, right? So I'm limited. But if I have, the amount of money I can earn is unlimited, and therefore the amount of tax I can pay on that is also unlimited, right? And it all comes back to, I think, basic human psychology is that when we get paid and when we make money and we pay taxes, we view that tax as a loss. Psychologically, the government has taken money. We've lost $50,000, right? That's the amount of tax we paid this year. And therefore, psychologically, that's a very painful reaction. And if you look how humans probably evolved, we didn't live in as much abundance as we do now. So the idea of losing anything is a very painful response. In fact, it might be better for our survival to make sure we didn't lose what we had 10, 20, 30,000 years ago, right? But in today's society, we have so much abundance, right? We live in a financial system where money is printed, right? It's not pegged to a physical resource like gold. It's literally imaginary, right? They print it all the time. In fact, that's why we have so much inflation. Our currencies around the world are being routinely devalued, right? They're basically unlimited. So if we live in a world of such abundance, why are we so focused on what we have to lose? And why don't we instead put that mental energy into what we can make, what we can create, what we can gain? So when I say I want to pay more taxes, what I mean is I want to devote my mental energies into not what I'm losing, but into what I can make, what I can create. And as a result, I just want to pay more taxes, right? And that's not a stupid statement, but I just want to shift my energy from trying to avoid losing what I already have and focus on gaining what's out there, which is fundamentally infinite. Now, the other reason I like the idea of paying taxes is I probably haven't always felt this way. Politically, I've swung a few times, right? From right to left. Typically, I've always been, fiscally speaking, relatively conservative. But I've visited many countries around the world, and when I look at the country I live in now, Australia, one of the beautiful things about Australia is we have Medicare, right? We have social safety nets for people who are unemployed, people who are disabled. And we say, there's a lot of criticisms about these things at times, but at the end of the day, even if you're an extremely wealthy person and you're paying a lot of tax, right? You yourself might be covered with the income you have. You might say, screw everyone who's on social welfare. But in a sense, you're not paying just for yourself. You want these people to be stable and safe, right? Because if they don't have access to those social safety nets, the level of crime in your society is going to go up, right? It's undesirable for everyone, including the person paying a ridiculous amount of tax. And I think that is why I've come to terms with the fact that I'm okay with taxation, right? I'm okay with the taxation we have. Even if in the future I were to become a business owner, I would want my employees, for example, to be able to get to work. And that might involve having a well-maintained public transportation system. So my employees can get to work, right? So it serves the areas that they live. And this is going to help me make money. And that's why I don't begrudge taxes. It's a waste of mental energy to complain about things which probably do us good anyway. Yes, there are inefficiencies, many inefficiencies in the way that governments are run. I used to work for the government. I know this for all, but I'm much happier living in a country like Australia than, certain parts of America, right? Where people go into grand amounts of debt to access very simple healthcare. In terms of philosophy, I have definitely shifted to focusing on what I can gain as opposed to what I can lose. And as a result, I want to pay more taxes. You've just made it through another episode of Monologues by Hassie. It brings me great pleasure to know that you made it to the end. To listen to more episodes, subscribe on your favorite podcast app or visit monologuesbyhassie.com. Thanks for swinging by.